for my number 2 pick, I'm gonna go old school on this because I mean old school RPGs mean a lot to me. I mean that's what I grew up with, and my number 2 is actually Chrono Trigger from back in the Super Nintendo days. This game was released back in 1995, and according to a lot of critics and a lot of publishers, it's not always considered one of the best RPGs of all time. They actually consider it one of the best games ever made. And, I mean, it meant a lot to me. The game introduced a lot of interesting dynamics, and when it came to its time travel aspect, was actually pretty well done. Most games can't get time travel right, but this one actually made things seem right. When you would do something in the past, you would actually make something in the future kind of wonky. And also the combat was fun. I've yet to see any turn-based game kind of bring this to light like it used to, with teaming up and building your character levels in order to get certain attacks that you can team up and do. And the New Game Plus. It's the only game still. It was the first game to introduce New Game Plus, and it was the only game to ever do it right. Still, to this day.
You might want to, for those that don't know, you should probably explain what New Game Plus is.
What New Game Plus is after you beat the game, you can start over from the beginning and have all the items you got, all the levels, your same level as you were when you ended the game. You pretty much have everything you had, and you can go through the game. And what Chrono Trigger did right about it was the fact that you did this in order to get the new endings, because you can actually enter in the last boss battle at any time during the New Game Plus in order to introduce new endings based on those choices. And there was I think there was 9 or 10 endings.
Wow. And
I played through and got every last fucking one of them.
That's how you get new or replay value.
Yeah.
That's huge
definitely.
replay value.
Yeah, no, and it, like I said, it's the only game it was the first game to ever introduce New Game Plus, and it was the only game to ever do it right. Because it actually made me want to play through and get every single ending. And I've actually done it multiple times throughout the years. This came back in 95. I've gone through this game and done the New Game Plus, 4 or 5 times now at this point. I've played the shit out of this game because it is one of the... This was back in the day where Squaresoft meant something. It wasn't Square Enix, it was Squaresoft. This was one of the biggest publishers, one of the biggest gaming companies for this type of genre. It was back in the day where they meant something. God damn it. Now they don't mean anything. They're another Japanese company producing meh games at this point.
There's such a thing other than that right now?
Not really.
I'm sorry, Japan.
It's okay.
I'm not sorry, Japan.
Neither am I.
But
hey, they really helped spur
they did
everything.
I mean, they created
they
everything
can go away
we love.
now.
Without
all I'm saying.
Without Mario, without Final... God, no, I never said that. Without Mario, nothing might be where it is.
See, and I'm actually a little disappointed. I thought Soda was going to flip out on me for picking a game that had time travel aspects. But, I mean, that...
Guess what? Didn't even know there was time travel aspects, so...
That's alright.
Of course you guys don't know, time travel is the worst plot device in existence. It destroys because then you just get to sit back and there's a never-ending argument of how it would work, how it should work, does that affect this or that. And there's only one acceptable form of time travel, and that is that when you do time travel, you create an alternate universe that has no effect on the original universe you came from. Otherwise, nothing fucking makes sense. It's stupid.
I can
it's
agree
terrible.
with that, yeah.
It's sinful. I think you can spend a week in hell for doing such a thing.
But actually, in my opinion, I mean, Chrono Trigger,
how he feels?
its time travel was a big part of its story because it was about pretty much this force that came out in one time and just pretty much started the destruction of the world and comes back later on in the world and actually completely destroys it. So he's birthed at one moment and then destroys it later. And it's pretty much you're having to travel back and forth in time in order to try to change aspects of what this monster did in order to try to rectify those situations and eventually get to a point where you can go back at the time that he was birthed and defeat him at his birth in order to save the world. So, I mean, it was done in a way that
Did this enemy time travel at all, or you're the time traveler?
You're the time traveler. The enemy itself was birthed at this time and lived through this.
And you're the one magical dude with a time travel device.
It just kind of happens.
Just kind of happens. Huh?
Yeah.
Rips and tears and such.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
anyways,
I don't know it, but I'm already putting a gun to my head. Go on.
I'm
sure it was great.
I could see Soto just seething while Brendan was going through that explanation.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's hard to describe, but the thing is, it was one of the best RPGs, in my opinion, ever made, and I'm not the only one feeling that way about it. It's all right. It's all
Go for it.
Alright.
Not hard. I didn't play it, so I can't rightfully sit here and tear it apart.
Which actually is weird, because being a big RPG fan, you were more on the PC side of it, weren't you?
Yeah, but well, I'm actually honestly I was on all sides of everything. The only thing I don't get into is on or Facebooky bullshitty little games.
Those don't count.
I correct myself. They're not games. I don't know what the hell they are.
All
I
right,
don't know
and
what
now let's
they're
move on to
fine.
the important part. Let's go
Yeah.
to everybody's
All
number one pick. Soto, what's your number one game of all RPG game of all time?
Now this is where it's kind of it was so hard sitting there thinking of all the RPGs I want to put in there. It's never ending debate. I mean, the only thing that ever limited all the games I played was generally how much money I had. That's why I probably never played that game. And I kind of feel like this might be a slight bit of a cop out saying this game, as it's fairly recent. It has a long lineage of games. The Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Elder Scrolls series, always one of my favorites in the first place, and Oblivion being pretty much the latest in their series, you kind of have to give it to them, or talk about the Oblivion game, not the other games. Though I loved all the other ones as well. I love Oblivion. It was perfect. Well, not perfect. I'm not going to say that. I can critique any game and tell you what was wrong with it, and it had some flaws, but narratively, the first-person aspect, as I've said, I adore. Storyline-wise, loved it. The system of the Oblivion gates leveling up with you, so you couldn't... Go ahead and power level, buddy. Go ahead and fight all the bears in the forest, because as soon as you go into that gate, it's still going to be the same level as you. That was brilliant to me. Some people hated that, like, but I want to feel that godliness. You can feel like God towards the end if you spend enough time. And my friend always had this funny comment, because... Not a funny comment, he's kind of stupid over it, but he never beat the game. He's probably put like 107 hours in that game and never beat it, because that game you didn't even have to do anything with the primary storyline. Kind of one of its flaws, that's sometimes one of its strengths. You could just start wandering off and find things to do.
Yeah, actually,
it was brilliant.
Yeah, I'm with you, because I still haven't beat the game, because I actually just recently got it, because for a while I kind of avoided it because Morrowind pissed me off. I didn't really like that game that much.
Morrowind. Like I said, we're choosing Oblivion. It's the most recent and probably the most perfect.
But yeah, and in the very first city, that really, really big city, I must have spent a good 20 hours in there without even progressing the actual storyline itself.
There was so much content in the game. The guilds were also one of my favorite things. The Assassin Guild. Oh, how fun is that? That was awesome. At one point, you have to kill everybody in it, along with their leveling system. The more you use anything, it wasn't entirely based on put points into this. That was part of it. And who doesn't love a game that has a leveling system for luck? That's awesome. It just says luck. Level up luck 100%. See how funny the game gets. It's awesome.
I've actually heard a lot of
Fallout had luck.
Well, that's Fallout. I believe.
Same people.
Same
people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they took
Bethesda, yeah.
They took the IP of Fallout and made a game out. Well, of course, it's the same people. The gameplay.
Well, but I'm talking like even the earlier, the first ones that
Did they have luck?
weren't Bethesda.
Yeah,
they also had luck as well.
I defy you not to love a game that has,
Right.
has luck in it.
Yeah, and actually, one thing I got to recommend to people, if you haven't played Oblivion and you're gonna give it a shot, put it on the PC.
Absolutely. Load times, everything better, graphics better.
And from what I've heard from some friends that are still actually playing it to this day, they've had it from the very, very beginning. They're still playing it now because of all the mods that are out there in order to do things. There's actually a mod out there that someone was telling me about that actually gets rid of load times completely. To where you actually can walk, you go near a city, you walk into the city, the door opens, and there's no load times ever. You explore the entire thing. Yeah,
they support their game a lot, the designers. They give it out to the community, and anybody can start making mods with their games. They have, I think, a yearly contest, actually, for the best mods. 1 year, a Dragon Mount, I believe, won, which is awesome. It's a Dragon Mount. I mean, what better
Who
game
doesn't like a Dragon
if you want
Mount?
to get some skills and you want to sit back and you're like, you know what this game's missing? That. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to put it in the game. There was a castle in the sky. There are so many things you can do with the community. And community-based games that are supported that way, they'll never get old. I believe my friend at one point was running around as Master Chief. Yeah, that's right. Master Chief. He rode around on a ghost. That was one of the mods made for Oblivion. And that is so much what can keep a game alive.
Yeah, talk about replay value. Yeah, that's...
Along with, boots that allow you to walk across water like you're Jesus Christ. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Any game that can make you like Jesus Christ is
Yeah.
There's a load of content out there for that game, and it is consistently getting more. So, I mean, if you're going to give this game a shot, you've got to give it a shot on the PC because there's so much out there in order to add to the game. And the developers do fully support their community. And that's a cool thing to see because not many developers do anymore.
I believe they actually give you tools specifically to help you create content.
It was created with tools in order to help you create
Yeah.
content.
Well, yeah, they give you some of them.
Yeah.
Now, they're not going to give you the full engine.
Right. Like, here's the developer tools. Enjoy.
Go make a game. It's like, wow.
But virtually at some point, there are people out there that have modded that game to the point where it is a new game, like they got the engine for it. Because that's how accessible they've actually made that game to their community.
I've only ever made smaller mods. I don't know entirety of it.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a great feature.
Yeah.